Hello, I'm Andy Dawson.
Yes, and I'm Bob Mortimer.
And this is the Warm Up Podcast.
Here it comes.
What have we got coming up today?
Well, I hope we're going to hear about Steve McLaren, what he's been up to, and of course, what the Alderman's been up to, that dirty fella.
And we've also got to look back at the time you filled a hotel room in Marseille with Jambon.
Yeah, can't wait.
Wall to wall, ceiling to floor.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Euro 2016 warm-up.
Kick it! With Bob Mortimer and Andy Dawson. Zut alors!
Every goal, every game.
Every day.
On TalkSport.
Hello, I'm Andy Dawson.
And I'm Bob Mortimer. How you doing?
We are the men behind the Athletico Mince podcast, and we're taking over the warm-up for the next 2 hours.
You say men. You describe yourself as a man, Andy?
Well, I'm not a boy.
Yeah.
I'm not a woman. And I'm not an animal.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So that just leaves men.
How are you, Andy? Ooh, lobbed a sigh out. What's that?
No. It wasn't a sigh. It was. It's what I like to call verbal yoga.
All right.
And it gets me in the right place to do this broadcast.
Yeah,
with yourself.
Just for a moment, then I thought maybe like you were trying to suggest that you didn't want to be here with me, but that wouldn't be the case. Would it?
No, it's an absolute pleasure to be on here sharing the airwaves with you.
What shall
Bob.
I call you today? Ronnie Hot Dog, Mr. Park and Ride, Gentle Kenneth, Pat McTodd, Billy the Pigeon. You can choose one. Philip Stark. No, he designed furniture.
He's a real human, isn't he, Philip Stark?
Yeah.
I'm going to be Philip Stark, I think.
Also,
Philip Stark the Third.
I was going to offer you Django Untrained, you know. Oh. Are you sure you're still going for Philip Stark? It wasn't Philip Stark the Third, Andy. It was Philip Stark.
Am I not allowed to enhance it?
No, you're not. It wasn't on offer. Do you know what I mean? So, hello to you, Philip Stark.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr.
Lovely to see you.
Mr. Honky Tonk.
Mr.
What have we got? What are we doing? Why are we here? What's this all about?
Yeah, well, we are here to introduce people to the world of Athletico Mince and to try and entertain them for the next 2 hours.
We are.
Andy.
We want some input.
What input do we want? Hey, I'll tell you what I'd like to know, and it always fascinates me whenever I'm watching the matches. I'd like to know what people, which footballer people think would look best dressed head to toe in denim. I'm talking shoes, trousers, shirt, jacket,
shin pads.
Shin pads. Shin pads could work, Andy, because you wouldn't want to attack someone wearing denim on the shin.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
You'd say, I can't kick that. It's a little slab of denim.
But if it's underneath the jeans, you wouldn't even know they're wearing it.
True, that is true. So footballers who would look good in denim, I'd like to hear about.
So yeah, tell us who you think would be the best footballer to be draped from head to toe.
Drapes are good
in
word.
Denim, and text us at 81089.
You say drapes, Andy, and it makes me think.
I'm trying to read the text number out here, Bob.
Sorry, go on then.
Text us, please, 81089, and that text will cost you 50 pence plus your standard network rate. Or you can tweet us at TS Warmup, or at Real Bob Mortimer, or at myself Profanity Swan.
Okay, but can I just go back to you saying drapes?
Draped.
Yeah, draped. It reminded me of curtains, and I'm thinking to myself, we live in such like a hard, like this studio. It's hard, isn't it? You know, you get laminate flooring,
yep.
You get wood flooring, yep. You get Venetian blinds, yep. Roman blinds, and that. We used to live in a much softer world, Andy.
And I'll tell you what, there's not much curvature in here either.
Isn't it angular?
Very angular.
Yeah. A
lot of edges.
I mean, I listen to TalkSport an awful lot, Andy, and I didn't imagine it being like this. You know, when I think of like cuddly Mickey Quinn, say for example,
lovely cuddly.
Incidentally, I think I've got Mr. Brazil's seat here. There's quite a, what could you call it, a delve in it.
Is there a bit of give in it?
Yeah, there's been a bit of heft on this seat. You know, I always imagine it as a more like a comfy place, leather sofas and chairs, and maybe some sandwiches and
maybe some chiffon.
Brioche. Do you have brioche up north, Sunderland way?
Yeah, we're getting it. We're getting it next month, I think.
I bet you can't all wait.
We get it for a 3-week period, and then it goes back.
Yeah, and then no one buys it, so they send it back.
No.
So listen up, Andy. I don't know if you've got other business to do with, but there was quite extraordinary happenings at Steve McLaren's house last night.
Oh yeah.
I really.
Oh really?
Honestly,
we're going into that already. So what's Steve McLaren been up to, Bob?
Well, my informant. I'll tell you what he's been up. I'll just get on with it, right? So last night, Steve and Roy got together, Roy Hodgson, Steve McLaren, Roy Hodgson.
Both men who are a loose end.
Yeah.
Unlike ourselves.
For a boys' night in. And Steve, what he did, he invited him round to try his first batch of homebrew, like a craft beer that he called Casper.
Yeah.
After his snake. because Steve McLaren has this lovely yellow snake he takes everywhere with him.
Yeah.
It's called Casper. He named
I didn't know the snake had a name.
Yeah, it's called Casper.
Is it?
Yeah, because Steve's favourite film's Kes. You remember the film Kes?
Yeah.
Casper! Casper, what are you doing with that kestrel? So he called it Casper after that. So they went in the shed, and Steve put on like this really bright, dazzling white cotton jacket that he'd embroidered on it. Steve McLaren, Master Brewer.
Oh.
Now Roy ain't gonna like that, is he?
No.
And he
It's a
didn't
bit
like
showy, isn't it?
It is a bit showy. So Roy immediately unzips. He's got one of those like brown M&S bomber jackets, with elasticated cuffs and elasticated waistband.
Yeah.
Pulls it open, puffs his chest out, and what does it say? Euro 2016 official T-shirt.
Bit of the trump card there, didn't he?
He's trumping him.
This is like two rutting stags, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
facing off against
I think
each
there
other.
is a fondness, but yeah, there's a bit of a face-off there. So, of course, Steve, interesting you say that, Steve immediately retorts to him, "You'll have to give that back now, won't you, Roy?" You know what I mean? Bit nasty, to be honest. So Roy says, "No, I won't. They can't make me," says Roy. So Steve just left it. Anyway, it's quite a serious rig that Steve's got set up. It's a Brewmaster 200 litre, yeah? And he brewed like an American-style IPA, a little bit cloudy, but it looked nice. So Roy tastes a bit. It's okay, but he's thinking to himself, it tastes a bit like pork. Do you know what he's thinking that? But he doesn't say it. Says lovely, absolutely lovely. Anyway, at this moment, Fat Lass, who Steve hangs around with, she calls them from the kitchen because she's on her way to a Friday feeding frenzy, it's called. She goes every Friday night with her big-sized mates. It's basically an all-you-can-eat Indian buffet and disco, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She says, "I've toasted a whole white long loaf, a big pot of baked beans for you two boys. You can have it on the...
Fill your boots.
Fill your boots, have it on the back patio." So, is this getting too long?
No, not at all. No.
So,
we've got till 1 o'clock, so you're all right.
But, this is what... So, Steve keeps pouring pints of Casper out for Roy, but he's getting really sick of this, like, porky taste. So what he's doing, Andy, is there's a big garden bucket next to him with a hose pipe just hanging in it. Yeah. So when he's not looking, Roy's pouring the Casper. Casper! He's pouring the Casper into the bucket. Bit later on, Roy is getting a bit nauseous with this pork water, right? And Steve gets up and announces that he'd better water his plants. So he asks Roy for the hose pipe. It's one of those, the yellow hose pipes that you get.
Those yellow ones, yeah. I see where this is going.
He picks it out of the bucket. Was it a hose pipe?
Was it a hose
No.
pipe? Can I just proffer a guess as to what it was?
What was it?
It was Casper the Snake, wasn't it?
It was Casper, yeah? So, of course, Casper's been leaning over the bucket, so he's full of the pork juice as well. Yeah? So as soon as he sees Roy's face, you can imagine that, he presumes he's been attacked by a barn owl.
Yeah.
Spews his guts up all over Roy. Roy tastes the sick on his face, like the porkiness of it, so he immediately spews up, gushes it all over Steve's bright white Master Brewer jacket. Absolute disaster.
Steve's going to be gutted. Roy's going to be quite secretly pleased with that result, isn't he?
I suppose so, yeah.
But he's also got his Euro 2016 T-shirt
That was
covered in
covered.
spew
That was
as well.
covered. I mean,
in
that
snake
was
sick.
covered with Casper's sick.
Yeah.
But
and then Roy was sick all over Steve.
All over Steve. So
And they haven't even touched the beans, had they?
you know what? They didn't touch. They didn't want them. They just put
You
them in the
wouldn't, would
manure
you?
pile. So they put their gear in the washing machine and they just sat in their vests for the rest of the night, watching an old episode of Poirot that Steve has on VHS.
Yeah. Has he got a favourite one, has he?
Yeah, he's just got a fair. I don't know the details of it, but
No. That's quite surprising because he went into a lot of detail on the rest of it.
So that was last night at Steve McLaren's.
Typical standard night in.
Yeah.
Chez McLaren. We've already had one suggestion on who would look good in denim.
Yeah.
And Alexi Lalas.
Alexi Lalas.
Remember him?
Oh, he would look
ginger.
good. Yes.
We've got a theory, haven't we, that the ginger fella looks better in denim than any other
Steve Sidwell
brand
would
of
look
fella.
glorious.
And that Alexi Lalas tweet came from Alexi Lalas.
Himself.
Yes.
He would look good. I mean, Peter Crouch would look good as a goth, wouldn't he?
He would, yeah.
But that's not denim.
No.
That's your black material.
I tell you else a bit of good goth as well. Carlos Tevez.
Yeah.
Would he be a really moody one?
Quite menacing, yeah.
Yeah. He'd have a lot of issues.
Yeah, like Crouch would just like Crouch would just he'd more just leer over the gravestones, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Ooh, like that. But Tevez, he'd probably start digging at the mud, wouldn't he?
With his foot, and he'd be kicking a can around in the corner.
Yeah.
Just full of anger.
So, have you noticed I'm wearing me Greg Wallace cardigan?
Yeah.
For the listeners, it's a nice zip, full zip, concealed zip.
Yeah. I thought it was a jumper at first till I spotted the zip.
Yeah, no, I'll just do it again. There you are.
It is.
Yeah.
And you look a lot like Greg Wallace.
Yeah,
in
and
that.
I worn it deliberately because I know that bothers you. Because Greg Wallace, the whole idea, the very nature of Greg Wallace bothers you. And I've never got to the bottom of this, Andy.
There's something about the fella.
Yeah,
He's just a greengrocer.
he was a market trader, wasn't he?
He was just a greengrocer, and now he's opining on hot foods.
But I still don't know why
on
this
BBC
bothers
One.
you. Because what are you? You're a bin man or something, were you, when you were young?
No, I used to work in a record shop.
You what? Oh,
That was
you're
my
a grammar
trade.
school boy or something?
No, comprehensive lad. Working in a record shop till they closed it down.
Yeah.
And now here I am.
But so his journey kind of similar to yours. You resent what he's achieved, though, don't you?
Well, yeah. But so what? He's up there to be popped at, isn't he?
Is he?
He's in the public eye. He's in the public domain.
I've met him. He's a lovely fella.
Is he?
He's a really nice fella.
All right, okay.
And then the sickening thing is if he came in now, you'd really pretend to get on with him, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah. I'd just be a proper bumlick.
What do you reckon Sam Allardyce's profession would be? Like if he wasn't a football manager, he's got a certain look, and I think I know what it is.
I think Sam Allardyce would be big in scrap.
Ah, scrap, yeah.
I think he'd have a scrap yard, but he wouldn't get his hands dirty. He'd delegate.
Would he be in a porter cabin?
Yeah. He'd be on the phone a lot.
Yeah. Great big mug of Bovril.
He'd describe it as his empire.
Yeah, and his Bovril would come weak because he hadn't stirred it properly.
He'd be a bit of a dictator in the scrap industry, but yeah, that's what he'd do.
Sean Dyche, a butcher, isn't he?
Sean Dyche?
He's a butcher, isn't he?
Council estate pub landlord.
Pub landlord?
Yeah. The kind of pub where you've got a dog that lives on the flat roof.
Yeah.
He puts a karaoke night on, but he begrudges it.
Did you ever used to tease Alsatians that were on pub rooms?
Well, no chance. What if they got down?
What, you're all right?
There was always that risk, wasn't there? They would leap 30 feet and come after you.
Yeah.
Couldn't have that happening.
Because when we were young, the Alsatian was the dog you feared, but now it's relatively gentle, isn't it? It's all devil dogs and things.
Rottweilers and
Rottweilers.
stuff.
Now the
American
Alsatian.
pit bulls.
Yeah, the Alsatian seems quite cuddly.
We've got another thing we'd like to ask the listeners to contribute, and that is if you've had any football dreams recently, because I've been starting to have football dreams. Yeah. Again, I'm a Sunderland fan, and I've been dreaming about Sunderland. I think that the period from the end of the season, between that and the start of the new season, is now sort of got to the point where I'm starting to dream about wanting it back.
Yeah.
And I had a dream the other night where I went along in a journalistic capacity to the Stadium of Light training ground, the Academy of Light they call it, and I was watching Sunderland do the pre-season training, and the players in this dream were lined up in front of a shaving mirror. And when they got to the front of the queue, what they had to do was they had to spit at their own reflection, and then from about 4 feet, and then try and catch it in their reflection's mouth as it hit the mirror.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. There's probably some dream analysts out there that could tell us what that means.
Yeah.
But I think the idea was that it was character building.
Yeah. I think it ties in with Greg Wallace.
Yeah,
you hate yourself. You hate yourself. You see a lot of yourself in Greg.
Yeah, you would say that, though, wouldn't you?
Well, staring at the mirror, spitting at yourself, honestly, it doesn't take a genius, does it?
Well, if you have had any football dreams recently, text in at 81089, and text will cost 50p plus your standard network rate.
Andy, would you like some advice, about heart health, or would you prefer some advice about hearth rugs? I'm easy either way, because as you know, I've had heart problems.
Have you?
I've noticed you
I
haven't
wasn't aware of that.
Yes, you were.
Well, if I was, I've forgotten.
All right. So you're not that bothered?
Not really bothered.
Okay, well, I'll give you...
What was the other thing? Hearth rugs?
Yeah.
Yeah, what you got on that?
Well, I just really want to give a warning out, is that they're an ideal breeding place for moths, just for household moths.
Right.
So be careful with them,
Right.
Get them outside, give them a shake.
Okay.
Get them cooled from time to time in this weather. This is the 2-week period where you got to be ever so careful about moth infestation. So... do you wash your hair with washing up liquid, Andy?
No, shampoo,
No,
Bob.
Use shampoo. Have you tried that new coconut shampoo?
No.
No, your coconuts come up really nice.
Is that your joke?
That's a little joke.
You've slipped a little joke in there quite early on. Very good.
So what's next then, Andy?
I don't know. We're on our Athletico Mince podcast.
Yeah.
We've become pioneers of the observational comedy genre.
Oh, I love
Haven't
observational.
we?
Do you remember?
Do you want to give the listeners some of that then?
Oh, yeah.
Have you got a routine planned?
Well, I've got a little bit because I've come to London for the day. I thought I'd do a bit of observation comedy about London. So
Okay.
you're ready to get some? You're going to love it.
Give us it.
Have you ever noticed? I said, have you ever noticed that in London? Look, do you remember London? Do you remember London?
Have I got to say something here?
Yeah.
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 You've enjoyed remembering it, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you ask someone for directions and they just blank you, but they stare at your brass hand and say something rude like, you need to get that oiled, mate. And then they walk off before you've had time to tell them that there isn't a brass hand oil outlet this side of Watford. You noticed that?
I haven't got a brass
Yeah,
hand.
have you noticed
I
it, though?
haven't got a brass hand.
No, all right, well, that was... that.
Shall I just pretend again? Yay!
Yay! So, observation. You got any, then?
Well, maybe later on, eh?
All right.
I'm not going to follow that straight away. This is the warm-up on TalkSport being taken over by me, Andy Dawson, and Bob Mortimer, the men behind the Athletico Mince podcast.
Yeah, we're here.
That's us, isn't it?
That's us here.
And we've just had a little bit of music there, which you couldn't hear, Bob. 'cause you haven't got
I
your
think I
headphones
heard
in.
a bit of it. Was it T-Rex?
It was, well, it wasn't. It was actually T-Rex's Jeepster as played by Electric Coconut.
The Electric Coconuts.
Electric Coconut, and that's from an album called Go Moog, which I picked up at a charity shop for 50 pence the other day.
Don't you often go to charity shops?
All
and
the
that sort of
time.
thing? Boot sales?
Boot sales, charity shops, all that sort of thing. And that's Electric Coconut, where they play some of the greats of the 1970s on the Moog synthesizer.
Well, I didn't have my headphones. I'm sad to have missed out on
you
that.
missed a treat.
Give us a game of Guess the Footballer. Can I give you one?
Go on then.
Oh, really quick. All right. I'm thinking of a Premiership footballer.
Right.
Can you tell me what that footballer is? Yes or no questions.
Right, okay. Does he play for a northern club?
Yes.
Is he a defender?
Yes.
Does he play in a kit with red in it?
No.
Does he play with a kit with blue in it?
Yes.
Is he-
See how large that yes was?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Is he from the city of Manchester?
Yes.
Is he a full-back?
No.
Is he a centre-back?
No. And your time's up.
Oh!
So nearly there. I might return to it.
But he was a defender,
Yeah.
not a full-back or a centre-back.
No.
Goalkeeper.
Yes.
Joe Hart.
Yes, you got
Get
there.
in there.
Did you enjoy that ever so
I did.
slightly? It's the first time
I
you've
got
ever enjoyed
a
it.
bit of a frisson from that, bit of a thrill. Anyway, over to you, because it's time to establish your credentials
Yes, I
as the memory man of football.
the memory man of football. I know all football facts and statistics from 1876 to the present day.
Okay, I'm going to test you. Here we go, memory man. Do you remember the name of the white horse from the 1923 FA Cup final at Wembley? It was the first ever Wembley Cup final. The white horse.
Yes.
What about that, ladies and gentlemen?
Yeah, it took a bit of thinking that one.
It's
actually.
a two-parter.
Go on then.
Also, do you remember how many Tods it deposited onto the freshly laid Wembley pitch?
No, I'm sorry, Andy. I'll answer football related statistics. I'm not giving you Todd information. I don't collate Todd facts. No, thank you. Did you ever used to think when you were a kid? I used to think this. You know Bobby Charlton's side over thing?
Yeah.
I used to... There was a real length there. You know, I'm talking like maybe 14, 16 inches
Definitely, yeah.
of hair. And I used to think, like, if you took Bobby out with you to the riverbank, yeah, and tied a little hook and a maggot on the end of one of his hair
And
strands...
draped it down to the
Draped
side.
it down over the bank. You might catch yourself maybe a little perch, grayling, the lady of the river.
A couple of tiddlers.
Did that sort of thing ever cross your mind?
That never did until now.
But you can get drawn into haircuts with footballers, can't you?
You can.
You can. And we won't talk about them, Andy,
No,
because
you just want
everyone
to
does.
acknowledge that you can get drawn into it.
Yeah. So be,
It's one of them things,
so
isn't it?
be careful.
We've got some more input from the listeners here. Football dream from someone who's unnamed. I once dreamt that Ron Atkinson was chasing me through town. When he'd catch up with me, he'd just say cracking and wink.
All right.
That sounds like a recurring thing as well.
All that talk of Todd, did I ever tell you about the story about the footballer who went to India?
No.
He went to India and he had these. He had insoles in his shoes and his brogues or whatever. He had these insoles from Savile Row or something that were perfectly, like shaped to his foot. And he came out of his hotel in India, and a little Indian fella ran out of a bush and threw a bucket of Todd on his shoes.
All right.
Right, and then ran off. And then another little Indian fella came up and said, "Oh, sir, that's terrible. What's happened? You've been todded up there." He said, but just by the looks of it, I've got a bucket and warm water just nearby around the corner here, and I can clean it all up for you. Just $25.
All right.
So it was a sham, but I thought it was one of the most pleasing scams that I've ever heard of.
And is that a true story?
That is a totally true story. Totally true, like the tropical drink.
This is the warm-up on TalkSport, being taken over today by me, Andy Dawson, and Bob Mortimer. We're the men behind the Athletico Mince podcast.
Hello, everyone.
Do you like that bit of music that's on there?
Yeah, was that one of yours again?
That was another one from my car boot, charity shop haul the other day. Now, that was by Baccarat.
Oh, I remember
Do you remember? Yes, sir. I can boogie. I can boogie all night long.
Have you ever boogied all night long?
I have, yeah.
Long boogie, isn't it?
You need some Pro Plus when you're finished.
Yeah, you would do.
And that was Coochie Coo.
Coochie Coo.
That was from their album, which I bought for 50 pence the other day.
50 pence.
It contains Yes, Sir, I Can Boogie. And Coochie Coo is kind of like a not very good rip-off of it.
Yeah, but are you recommending it to the listeners?
If they can get it for 50 pence, then go for it.
Yeah.
Good luck, though, because I got it.
Ha ha.
Ha ha. We've had some tweets come in on double denim and footballers that would be looking good in denim.
Yeah, and I think I'm sorry to interrupt, but someone has absolutely smashed it, because of course it's staring you in the face. The footballer who would look best in denim, and this is from someone called Zlatan, is Hassan Cruz, at Hassan Cruz, is Bastian Schweinsteiger. He would look fabulous in denim. Do you agree?
Would, wouldn't he?
Wouldn't he just
and he
look
would
the business?
Strut.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he? He's got that innate confidence about him.
Yeah.
He'd strut up and down the boulevard.
He would wear it well.
In his double denim. And, Robo555 says, I'd like to see Neville Southall in full dark blue denim, including shoes and socks and a cap with mirrors on it. Do you remember them?
Yeah,
Honky tonk.
I do remember them.
And Neville's denim would be very tight, wouldn't it? Skin tight, because he's a large fellow.
There's something cute about Neville's face, it's that cap. I can't help thinking about that cap at a jaunty angle.
And a little wink as he goes by.
Yeah. Oh, that's quite an image. I think we should stop talking about it.
Quite homoerotic, isn't it?
It is, it really is.
Anyway, we're joined now on the line by Fred, who is the maitre d' from First Dates.
Hello, Fred.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So I saw you the other week, Fred, when we did that big fat quiz together, and I must say, what a beautifully turned out man you are, and what a well-mannered man. So thank you for that.
No problem.
So
nice to meet you.
I've got to ask, Fred, where did you go for your first date?
For my first date?
For your first date, yeah.
Oh, it depends. I've had several first dates. I went to different places, restaurants. I like restaurants and bars.
Really? When you were a young lad? So you took someone to a restaurant when you were a young boy?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're a young boy, you meet people after school and things like that. But I think that when you grow up, you take people to bars or to restaurants. And, in France, this is what you do, and you don't have to go to expensive places. You can go to nice, simple places and then take somebody for a meal or a pancake or something.
Ooh,
and just enjoy a good time.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Now, do the French girls like football, Fred?
Of course. Every girl likes football.
Yeah? And are you looking forward to tomorrow, to the final?
Yeah, of course. I didn't know what was going to happen, and you always think that, because we play at home and all that, he's going to be successful. But that's really, really quite unbelievable, because with the French, it's kind of a love and hate thing, with the French team, because you never know which team is going to turn up.
Yeah.
And I get so upset when they don't play well, or at least if they lose, but if they try. And if they really, really make the effort, and you can see they're really focused on what they do, then if they lose, it's okay because they've done their best.
Yeah, well, that's...
If they just play like England played against Iceland, then you think, my God, I mean, this is just.
Don't remind me, Fred.
It's only a few years ago since Raymond Domenech was the coach, and the team was a disaster then, wasn't it? And
I couldn't stand him. Couldn't stand Domenech. He should have been sacked long ago, you know.
Did he not quit live on TV after they'd lost a match, and then he proposed to his wife at the same time, or proposed to his girlfriend?
Yeah, what an idiot.
As he resigned. Good stuff. Can you take us on a romantic journey? Because there's going to be a lot of England and Wales fans that got tickets for the final, hoping that England or Wales would get there. And obviously they're going to be in Paris tonight at a loose end, wondering what to do, possibly looking for romance. What would you suggest they do in terms of chat-up lines or chat-up techniques to woo a Parisian lady?
I don't know, man. You know, it just depends on the girl and on the situation. I mean, there are no recipes here. I think you just have to go with your heart and go with the occasion, don't you?
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Good feeling.
Do you enjoy being French, Fred?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But you know, I've been in England for the last 24 years. So I'm 44. I'll be 45 in January.
Right.
And I came to England when I was 20, and I felt at home. You know, just immediately. But being here for 24 years, which is, you know, I mean, the longer than I actually spend in France, you know, I kind of feel like I'm by, if you like.
Oh, right.
Because being here for so long, you know, I really feel, you know, part of the UK and then the United Kingdom, and it's a great, you know. So when I go to France, I don't, you know, it's like I'm going back to France. I feel like I'm going almost to a foreign country because I see it from very different eyes.
Yeah, right.
And that is the beauty of being in a foreign country for so long, I think.
Fred, have you seen any first date disasters in the restaurant that haven't actually made it to screen?
No.
They've all gone really well. Has there ever been a punch-up? Has anyone ever tipped a bowl of soup over their date?
No, never. People are very nice, you know. People are very nice. And, they behave really, really well.
When you say people are very nice, do you include Ronaldo in that statement?
Well, look, Ronaldo could maybe single-handedly win this game, but, you know, it's a team sport, and even if he scored the first goal, I think that we'll score another 2 or 3 off.
Well, so, we'll be rooting for you tomorrow night, Fred, and unless we get a Portuguese guest on later on, we'll be rooting for them as well. But thanks for joining us today.
You're going to get one. Come on, don't do that.
Cheers, Fred.
Thanks a lot, Fred.
My friend.
Cheerio.
We've got a couple more denim tweets and texts in from people. We've got an anonymous person here, perhaps wisely, who says, I once saw the world-famous Funhouse presenter Epic Mullet Pat Sharp in treble denim.
Wow. Shoes,
jeans and jacket. #disaster.
Wow, that's almost too much, isn't it?
And Fat Dave, Milton Keynes Spurs fan, says Big Sam, Allardyce obviously, in denim waistcoat and denim hot pants and a denim cowboy hat.
Yeah. No, there's something a little bit country and western about Steve Bruce, isn't there?
Steve Bruce.
Sam Allardyce. Do you think he'll be the next England manager, Allardyce? There's rumours of Klinsmann being the England
job,
manager, isn't there?
Do the Americans not all hate Klinsmann?
I don't know. He did all right.
Underachievement.
Well, I mean, he did all right. Many years ago, when I was writing with Vic, we were above a shop. It was a fireplace shop where they used to reclaim Victorian fireplaces and then flog them on. And his job was to just clean them up with acid and what have you. But he was always a funny fella. So we were doing a charity gig, and we said, look, Cockney lad, if you're so funny, why don't you come and do a little support act for us?
Threw down the gauntlet, did you?
Yeah, go on then, Cockney. Yeah. And so we went up to the charity gig. Was a Scotch Corner at the hotel there, and he didn't have a name, and we insisted that he went on stage with a name. So we told him, we said, within the next 20 minutes, we will put a piece of paper under your door, and that will be your comedy name. And we couldn't quite agree, so we put 2 under, and we gave him the choice. We pushed him under his door, and it was Peter Peanuts or Tommy Cockles. And of course, Tommy Cockles is what he chose, and that became one of the characters in the Fast Show many years later.
And if we hadn't lost him on the phone there, he could have verified that story.
He could have absolutely verified that.
You know what? I think he ran scared because we were going to play the proper football again.
Do you want a game with me?
Do I want a game with you?
Yeah.
The proper football game. Should we explain the mechanics of the proper football game?
Yeah, it's quite simple. It's like there's a category of footballers which we like to consider proper footballers. They include people such as Bardsley, Chris Brunt, John Walters, Dean Whitehead, that kind of player. And we play proper footballer, where someone suggests a proper footballer, and the judge, the other person
Yeah.
declares whether they're right or wrong. So we could give it a go. We were going to play it with Simon, but
Right, go on then. Do you want to go first?
yeah, you want a proper footballer?
Give me a proper footballer.
Dean Windass.
Right, I'll come back at you with Kenny Burns.
That's close. That's close. Who wins? Anyone through there? No one's even listening.
No.
I'm gonna give it a Dean Windass.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you
would,
happy
wouldn't you?
with that?
Not really.
All right. Do proper football club then.
Proper football club.
What's a proper football club?
Third Lanark.
What? A proper professional football club?
Well, they're not professionals now. They used to be.
Yeah.
Proper professional football club. Grimsby.
Yeah, Grimsby's quite proper.
Beat that.
I can easily beat it.
Go on.
So easily because Preston.
Yeah, you have.
I
You've
beat
won
you,
that
haven't I?
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe you shouldn't start. What do you
How
want?
about proper food then?
Proper food?
Yeah.
Corned beef in a sandwich.
Mince
obviously.
and dumplings.
Mince and you've won that one.
Get in there. 2-1 to you then.
Oh, you've got me one in mince and dumplings now. Really cheap mince. You never have tinned mince?
No.
Have you never had tinned mince? Oh, it's beautiful, man. Tyne brand tinned mince.
I've lived in the doldrums in the past, but I've never gone as far as tinned mince.
Oh, well, you shouldn't criticise it till you've tried it. Do you want to hear a story about when I met Tom Jones, or is it not really appropriate?
No,
at
I'd
the
love
moment?
to hear that.
You'd like to hear it?
Go on, go for it.
You know, I like to tell you stories about when I've met footballers.
Yeah, but Tom Jones isn't a footballer.
No, but it's a football. When I met a football story because he was with Gary Lineker.
Okay.
All right.
That legitimises it then. Go.
Yeah. So I like to tell the stories like when I met Emerson from Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
We'd lost the cup final. I said it's a shame about that, and he said no problem. I was rubbish, and then sang, "But I believe I can fly. I believe I can." So, and I thought, well, Emerson, I'll just leave you to that. But anyway, so I'm sat in a bar with Tom Jones and Gary Linkler. Gary Lineker. Well, isn't Gary lovely? He's a national treasure, isn't he?
He is, yeah, salt of the earth, Gary.
But
Icon.
a real national, irreplaceable, do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't go that far.
You reckon, who would you replace him with then on Match of the Day?
James Corden.
Excuse me? If you'd replace him with James Corden? Yeah. Nah, you got a big, stupid northern grin on your face. No, you wouldn't.
Get up with your story, Bob.
So anyway, I said to Tom, Tom, I don't mean to be rude or anything, but you must have made a fortune in your life, you know what I mean? And I said, have you ever really indulged yourself, really spent up? A real indulge. I won't tell anyone, Tom, or like that. And he says, no, I'm not saying anything. And Gary clearly wasn't going to tell us what he'd spent his dosh on. And he said, oh, please, you must have really bought something special. And we badgered him for a while. And then he said, go on, Tom, tell us. And he said, oh, all right. He said, I've got a gold plane. We said, what, like one that Ray says, yeah, I got a gold jet. It's got gold seats, gold doors, gold upholstery. That's what I spent my money on. And that was Tom.
Why was he talking in a Pakistani accent?
In a what accent?
Pakistani?
Was it?
I think so.
I hope I didn't cross any barriers there that I shouldn't have crossed.
No, I don't think so.
So that's that was nice. I met any other footballer stories? Do you want to hear?
Have you got any more?
Well, do you want them, Andy? Honestly,
of course I want them.
You've got this look on your face.
Of course I want them.
Did I ever tell you about when I met Lee Dixon and I had a game of snooker with Lee Dixon?
No, who won? Who won that then?
Match abandoned.
How come?
How come? Because he tried one of them trick shots. Trick shots? He tried one of those trick shots where you put the white ball over a ball to get yourself out of a snooker.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, though. It does happen.
Yeah, but did he know what he was doing, or did he just have a punt at it?
He knew what he was attempting. So, smack, bang, we were in an exclusive club, hit Stephen Fry, smack on the forehead. Right?
Yeah.
Stephen Fry, well, I better not tell exactly what happened next, but let's say there was a fracas. Right. You'd cause a fracas if a snooker ball hit you out the blue when you were just relaxing.
Kick right off. Getting back to the normal life.
All right.
Real people. Geordie from Leighton Buzzard reckons that's the dual mass flywheel on my car. That noise earlier on.
Okay.
His sounded the same. 700 to $1,000 to fix it.
Whoops a days. Well, Citroen Picasso. What reg is it, Andy?
It's 03.
03. So what? Yeah. It's worth £200.
It's worth about £200. So I just write it off, wouldn't I?
You're gonna have to, yeah. Is this one of yours, Andy?
This is one of mine.
I recognise this tune.
You recognise the tune, but do you recognise the rendition of it, though?
Well, it's Lieutenant Pigeon, isn't it, the tune? Mouldy Old Dog.
It is,
yeah?
but it's done by Electric Coconut.
Electric Coconuts.
From their album Go Moog, smash hit synthesizer style. We heard Jeepster by T-Rex done in that inimitable style earlier on.
Oh, it was the same band.
Same album.
My new favourite band.
It's also got Popcorn on it. It's got Chirpy Chirpy Cheep Cheep, Wig Wham Bam, Morning Has Broken.
Yeah, well, that would have been
weird.
weird. I mean, if it had Savoy on it, it would be bingo for you, wouldn't
Stop
it?
talking about Savoy.
Well, you brought them up. You said it's your favourite dish, the most proper dish in the whole world.
Are you in the peer of the Savoy industry or something?
I wish. Hey, I tell you what. Someone has said with regard to your car, I don't know, I've had one person say, it's Ian Seeley, and he says it's the heat shield that got, what is it, some kind of like jet or something. It has a heat shield that goes over the exhaust under the middle of the car. My dad's car did the same.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Really?
It is, yeah.
Is that right?
That's what it is, yeah. Well done, Ian.
Ian, you've diagnosed it.
And I'll just saw it off with a hacksaw.
Is that all?
That's all I'll do.
Yeah. Well, at 200,
Job done.
If the whole thing's only worth 200 quid, you're probably quite right.
Fair
Have
enough.
we got a guest coming
We're
up now?
joined
then, Andy?
right now by Brendan Sheeran from Coach Trip. Hello, Brendan.
Hello, Andy. Hello, Bob. How are you?
I'm
Good,
fine.
thanks.
Hi, how are you, Brendan? I always think of you as a sauce pot. Is that fair enough?
Yes.
So, what are you getting up to? What should people be getting up to in Paris? You're over there now, aren't you?
Well, yeah. There's lots of things. There's obviously the main monuments. You know, the Eiffel Tower obviously is one of the most major attractions in Paris, and then there's the Arc de Triomphe, the Champs Elysees, the Louvre. If you want a bit of art,
Is the Eiffel Tower? Is the Eiffel Tower easy to?
There's so many places to see in Paris. It's amazing, amazing city.
All right. Well, you having a nice time there, Brendan?
I am. I'm lovely. It's loving it, actually. It's in lovely weather as well. It's really nice.
Oh, that's nice. Now, when you're on a coach yourself, Brendan, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you generally just stare out the window, or do you prefer to just stare down at your lap for most of the journey? What do you reckon?
Oh, no. I've always looked out of the window, always, to see what's passing by.
Yeah, that's a really good tip for people who are on a coach to keep their...
Brendan, do you actually mend the coach yourself when things go wrong?
Oh, no, I have a driver, Andy, who does that. The driver, I mean, I've had Paul for years, but I've had several drivers, and it's part of their remit to know how the coach
don't
works.
have any mechanical
It did break
expertise.
down, actually, once when we did a celebrity coach trip.
Right.
And we all had to be taxied back. But Paul, the driver, I mean, he was very good. He soon got it working again. I think it took him about 2 or 3 hours.
Because I was going to ask you about me dodgy heat shield on my Citroen and see if you advised whether I should just saw it off with a hacksaw or not. But, you know.
A heat shield on a Citroen?
Yeah.
Oof, I don't even know.
I don't think Brendan's your man for
one of
that.
those cars. I'm sorry.
Maybe I should have asked Fred.
Have you
earlier.
ever had a driver, when you've been on a coach trip, like just suddenly just pull off, pull over, get out of the coach and like run off to the nearest asylum or something, Brendan?
No,
just abandon you?
No, I mean, the thing is, the driver really, he's responsible for getting us from A to B, and they do a marvellous job, and they get us from A to B very safely. I do try and help them sometimes, when we're in, like, the big cities of Barcelona and, for example, Paris, sometimes, there might be a diversion or something, and because I know some of the cities quite well, I can get them round, but other than that, no, I deal with the customers, or should I say the clients on board.
All right,
and I look after the people, but it's very rare they go mad.
Okay.
More like me sometimes.
Are you actually watching football, Brendan, or have you got no interest in it?
No, I have been watching it, of course. I mean, the thing is that when I live in Spain, of course, Madrid and Barcelona are always at each other's throats, and I love it. And of course, now with Wales getting right through, and of course, Ronaldo plays for Real Madrid, I don't have to tell you, and so does Bale. So of course, everybody in Spain, we've been waiting for this, this clash of the Titans, they called it in the Spanish press.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think.
Yeah, and I love the derbies, and the. I do have an interest. I'm not an avid supporter.
Have you been to any of the fan parks, Brendan, whilst you've been over there?
Sorry?
Have you been to any of the fan zones whilst you've been over there?
Well, I was quite near. I shouldn't say that. I was quite near the Nice one, actually. The Nice fan zone, but I just avoid it like the plague. Actually, you know what I mean.
I went down to Marseille.
I get recognised and I get inundated with people.
Yeah.
You know, and I can be there for hours signing autographs and having photographs and selfies. And well, Bob knows what it's like.
Yeah, well, I went to Marseille for the first England match, and I was there a couple of days before, and I went to the fan zone, but they had a problem with it because there was just dust blowing everywhere, so people had kind of abandoned it and went into Marseille to start fighting instead. But I didn't have much of a problem with people coming up. Well, thanks, Brendan. Thanks for your report. Always lovely to speak to you.
Yeah, lovely to meet you. Take care, guys.
Keep enjoying your day.
Cheers,
I
Brendan.
will, and you too. Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
Do you watch Coach Trip?
I do, yeah. My favourite bit is when they decide who's going to get voted off,
Yeah.
and they wait till they go to the toilet and they just drive off without them.
Yeah.
I love that bit.
So you like watching the misery of a fellow human
I just
being
enjoy wallowing in the misery of other humans.
being
that are
abandoned
suffering.
in some hellhole in Hungary.
I do. It makes me feel good about myself.
Do you ever take coach holidays?
I haven't been on one for a long time now.
No,
you look, because you're a millionaire.
Well, when I was young, of course. Did you remember this, Andy? They used to run the mystery tours. You could just book in with Beggs buses.
Yeah.
Pay £5 and you had
Didn't know where you were going.
You had no idea where you're going.
Where did you go?
Generally, you knew it was going to be Scarborough, Whitby, or Redcar. To be honest with you,
God.
or Captain Cook's Monument.
So you're living in Stockton, they send you to Redcar.
I don't live in Stockton. I live in Middlesbrough.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you not own half of Stockton?
No,
Were you not
my
telling me that the other day?
great-grandfather owned half of Stockton,
Right.
an area called Thornaby, actually. Just talking about Marseille there,
Yeah.
and I had some problems in Marseille, as you know.
You did.
Yeah.
I came and visited you, didn't I?
You
on
did.
our podcast, Athletico Mince, quite recently.
And do you mind if I just play in the little
Let's-
story about what happened in my hotel
Let's
room?
let the listeners hear it, yeah.
Here it goes.
You've joined me in my hotel in Marseille.
I have.
At Le Ver Port in Marseille.
Indeed. Here we are.
Here we are. Thank you very much for coming,
Up
Andy.
to our necks in Euro 2016.
Yeah. I should explain, in case people are thinking of that I've got stories about the shenanigans, what have you, that after I saw it kicking off, I've actually been in this hotel now 4 days on the trot.
Sort of like home arrest.
That's what it
A
feels like.
virtual
Yeah.
prisoner. You got a lot of ham lying around.
I have. I've got a lot of ham, Andy. Actually, please, jambon.
Jambon.
Jambon, right. And there is a reason for that. On Friday, when I realised it wasn't safe, I thought I'd better batten down the hatches, get some supplies in. So I nipped out, and it's not nice out there, and I nipped out, and there's a shop. I'm not going to say it's called a jambon shop, but when I got in there, it just seemed to be jambons.
Wall-to-wall jambons.
Yeah, it's not like you get up the Asda in packets. It's like uncooked and thin sliced, all different sorts of jambon. So I got about 5 kilos of jambon.
It looks a bit like the fallout from a waxy abattoir in here.
Well, can you smell it?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, it's like, as I say, it's not. I've got that little mini fridge there, but like I've got it. I'll just describe to the listeners, Andy. I've got a fan on, and I've laid out a lot of the jambon on top of the duvet, hoping the fan's going to keep it cool.
Yeah.
Have you been in my toilet bathroom?
Not yet. No, I didn't want to ask.
I've filled up the sink in the bathroom, and I've filled that with jambon. And see on my bedside table, that's lait, actually. Late.
Right.
Milk. I filled out the jambon in that. So,
Jambon in milk.
well, it's just trying to keep it cool, Andy. You know what I mean? So I've got that, and I've got pa. I've got bread. Yeah. Why are you laughing? What would you got?
It's just a horrific scene. I've just arrived like 10 minutes ago. Got off the train, jumped in a taxi, and I've walked into this hell, this jambon hell.
Yeah. Well, it's the only. To be honest with you,
How long are you here for?
I'm going to Lille on the 114
Today?
Yeah, I'm
Are you
going
taking the jambon with you?
No, I'm just going
He's
to
going to
leave
leave it for the maid.
Well, I haven't. I've put that sign up, non-interrupte or whatever it says.
Something like that.
And anyway, so because jambon it's good stuff. If you went up but I can't go up the Asda here, so I've got all this different types of jambon. That's going off. I can hardly sleep. Have you seen me window there, Andy?
Yeah.
That opens about 4 inches. And I put the jambon across. I put it on the sill so it could get the draft. Yeah,
Keep it cool.
Yeah, and I've knackered up the mechanism, so I had noise in this room. And if you look through, sorry, I'm going on about my room here, ladies and gentlemen, but it is carnage, isn't it?
It's horrific. I wouldn't even put a picture on the internet. I wouldn't even tweet. They wouldn't believe it.
And look, Andy, you can't see from there. On the wall opposite that beige wall, someone's written "Viva Tomato." That happens to be the graffiti.
When you say someone,
well, I don't know. It says, I can't get my brass hand through that gap there. And it says "Viva Tomato." So every time I look out the window, all I'm reminded of is that I remembered to get the pie. I got pie, I got jambon, but I didn't get any tomatoes. So
you need your 5 a day. How you do with your 5 a day? You can have scurvy.
Oh, God, sorry.
When you get the Lille, get some limes. Get some limes in your bob.
God,
please.
I can't wait to get out of here, honestly.
God, do you remember that? I still have flashbacks from that.
Yeah, I do.
Jambon hotel incident.
I can still smell it. Can you?
Yeah, it's in me nostrils.
And I sometimes think I haven't quite got the grease off my skin.
I know.
You know, because it's sweaty stuff. That French
was nearly
jambon.
a month ago, that now, wasn't it?
And did you know, just as a little postscript, Andy, I was on my way after Marseille. I went up to Lille. And on the way there, I got like the electronic receipt from that hotel, and there was something called something like nettoyer or something,
right.
€50.
Right.
And I asked my wife what that was, and it was for cleaning the room. So it didn't say
50. That's all.
It didn't say de-hamming or de-jambon in the room.
Because it was a jambon hell.
It was a hell, but you know, it's one of those.
That duvet would have cost at least €50 just to replace.
Yeah, no, it would have to be replaced. Yeah, because of seepage right there through. When I turned it over, it's true. When I turned it over, the duvet, I thought I'll turn it over, then they won't see it. The oil had gone right through the actual inside, all the way through. Funny food though, jambon. It's one of those foods a bit like, I'll say cod's raw or maybe liver or garlic or something.
Yeah.
Once it gets into your system, you quite fancy it. I've actually come back to England and bought some of that sweaty ham.
What, you're hooked on it now?
Yeah, a
like
little
an
bit.
addiction.
Yeah, I am a little bit.
You don't learn, do you? You learn nothing.
I'll tell you what, you could moisturise with it. Slap a bit of jambon on your face. You'll be greasy for at least 24 hours.
Would it work as a tanning aid, do you think?
Oh, you mean leaving a bit of dye behind? Perhaps if you got a cheaper one.
No, just as some people like to put butter on their face to get a better tan.
Butter on.
It was on a Seinfeld episode once.
You put butter on Weetabix, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Andy, what could possibly be right with that? The very thought of it makes me sick.
Have you tried it?
Well, no, I haven't tried.
Well, don't knock it till you've tried it then.
Well, I haven't tried putting.
Try it.
I haven't.
What are you frightened of?
I haven't tried putting butter on a slice of peach slice or something. It's a ridiculous combination.
You're a man who laid waste to an entire hotel room in France with a load of jambon.
Yeah.
And you try to tell me not to put butter on Weetabix.
Yeah, at least
who are you to tell me this?
Yeah, at least I didn't butter me duvet or butter me jambon, Andy. Thank you.
You wouldn't have been charged 50 quid.
Anyway, you're from Sunderland. You'll use it. Can't believe it's not butter or something, won't you?
Yeah.
Is that the end of the
No,
section?
I use Lurpak.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you use the foil one or the one in the packet? You know, the one that's in
the plastic tub.
In the tub.
The fridge, the spreadable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think it is makes it spreadable? Is it butter or is it not butter?
I don't want to know.
You don't want to know, Andy.
The more questions you ask about food,
yeah,
the worse the answers become. Never have a conversation with anybody who's working in a sausage factory. That's all I'm saying.
El periódico informó que el tiempo cambiará. Hay nubes negras en el cielo y...
Oh, listen to that groove.
You like that? That's got your boobs
That's
jiggling,
my favourite of all of my 50p charity shop purchases.
Fill me in on it then, Andy.
That is from the album Vacaciones en Mallorca con los Macovals.
Right, that's Holiday in Mallorca,
That's the lads, Los Macovals from 1970, and that song is called La Lluvia.
Why?
Listen to it. Shh. Go on.
It's just like something like when they had a little bit of money left on a pawn. No, they had some money at the start of a pawn shoot. So they did a little sequence of someone in an open top sports car to start the thing off before it all got seedy. It was very seedy music.
That's going to be in your brain for the rest of the day.
Hey,
do not deny it.
No, I'm not going to deny that.
Can I just before you take over things again?
Okay.
I was a couple more suggestions of double denim wearers from the Twitter. Nick the Horse. He says Michael Ballack would look amazing in double denim, but not just jeans, dungarees. Michael Ballack, dungarees? What do you reckon?
I tell you what, I think that would look excellent from behind.
Now underneath, just bare skin and
like
the dungarees, like Kevin Rowland in 1982.
Yeah, but I think
style.
it would be he'd be particularly well defined round the back, and I'd enjoy that. Yeah, I'd probably follow him the whole strip of say shopping centre.
Yeah, Daz the Gooner says per Mertesacker purely for the sheer amount of denim required.
Yeah,
so he must be quite bulky round the back.
Yeah, long length of denim for pair, Mertesacker, please. Do you think Jurgen, is it Jurgen or Jurgen?
It's whatever you want to be, mate.
All right, well, I'm going to plump for Jurgen Klopp. Do you reckon he's, like, funny? You know, like, funny fella?
He's one of them fellas who I think's quite imposing with his humour. Yeah. He'll do a joke in a very loud voice and hold the room.
And so you'll just laugh? Cause
you feel obliged to.
Yeah.
Because you fear for your job security.
Yeah, but under the microscope...
Under the comedic microscope, nothing happening.
Really?
Nah.
But he's a useful addition to the Premiership, isn't he?
He adds a bit of colour and flavour to it, yeah.
Yeah. So, look, I'm fearful that we're running out of time, and I'd like to tell you what happened with me and the Alderman. Can I do that?
The Alderman from your local parish?
Yeah, the dirty Alderman from Stockton-on-Tees. I'll be as quick as I can, right?
Please do.
Because what's happened is Stockton-on-Tees has had its own like mini Brexit, you know, just recently. And I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what they're running up to it. Well, Stockton is twinned with a French town called Asnières-sur-Seine.
Right.
Yeah. It's for a charity, and we had a big get-together for a charity that raises money, you know, like for daft kids and idle parents and that, things like that.
Cack-handed lads.
All that, and it's just to raise money for them. So we were going down on a coach, and the seat was spare next to the Alderman, so I went to sit down next to the Alderman, but he raised the palm of his hand like, and he just goes, "No!" Yeah, so I sat at the back of the coach with the town planner or some vicar who had a twitch or something. He stank of bleach. It's a weird thing to stink of, isn't it?
Just local dignitaries.
So anyway, we get to this place, Asnières, I think, and the do is like quite a modern social club place, and we all sat at our tables when in walks the mayor of Asnières. Now he's got a special gown and like these tight gold gloves. Yeah, he's a fat lad, but he looked at business.
Yeah,
he really did. And I just glanced at the Alderman. I could see he was fuming, absolutely fuming. He had such a tight grip, Andy, on his hot dog that the sausage like dripped out of the end of it. You know, and the Alderman likes hot dog. He wouldn't, you know, that was because he was furious. Anyway, so the French mayor made some speech, blah 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 blah, and at the end of it, he looked over at our table, saying something in French. And the town clerk explained that it was a tradition for one of the visiting party to go and kiss the mayor as a mark of friendship, right?
Yeah.
So I got up straight away. I quite fancied a kiss, you know. But as I got up, I heard the Alderman say, "No, Robert, sit down,
Robert.
Don't you dare kiss the mayor." So I go, "Oh right." I just sat straight down, and the twitchy vicar, the one who was the bleach, he went straight up and had a kiss with the French Alderman or whatever. So later on, I'm in the toilet cubicle, and you can sense a lot of people are coming in.
Yeah.
I knew that the toilets were filling up, so I opened the door, and at one end of this big long row of sinks is the French mayor. Yeah, he's took his trousers off and he's sat in the sink. Yeah, and the dirty Alderman's at the other end of the sinks. He's got his trousers off, but he's put his foot up in the sink. Yeah, that's really happened.
Is this like a showdown of some kind?
Well, so I go out. And I'm thinking, the best... Look, there's the French mayor, there's the Alderman. Who wants a kiss? What's going to happen? Or whatever. So I walk out. I just think, I'll get out of here. But as I pass the Alderman, I just give him a little peck on the cheek. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, we get on the coach. And once again, there's no one sat by the Alderman. And he grabs my arm as I pass him.
Oh.
And he says, "Why don't you join me, Robert?" So I did. And I had the odd kiss and the cuddle, and we went all the way back to Stockton. But the Alderman resolved on that trip that he no longer wanted Stockton to be twinned with Asnières-sur-Seine.
Really?
So that will be coming to an end. It's our own Stockton's own kind of mini Brexit.
A mini Brexit.
Yeah.
What a sad, sad story. It says a lot about the Alderman as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He's a very, very arrogant man, I think.
Yeah. No, Robert!
No, Robert!
Sit down! Don't you dare kiss that French mayor!
You don't even live in Stockton anymore. I don't know why he's got any kind of control over you.
Well, he's got I don't know what it is. I'm drawn to him, and whatever, Andy.
Well, that was the podcast today.
Yes, it was Philippe Stark. The third. I'm going to allow you that. I'm going to allow you that now. It's post-podcast.
How do you feel it went?
I think it went pretty good at times.
Did you have a favourite bit?
Yeah, I definitely had a favourite bit.
So did I. Brilliant.